Welcome, everybody, to another edition of our bank statement show. I think this is episode number 7. I am here with Mr. Banks. Mr. Banks, how are you doing?
Doing great. Hope you are, Mbongo.
I am doing well. I am excited. And big shout out to all of you guys who've been tuning in to our bank statement show. This is episode 7. I mean, it's crazy to think that we're already 7 episodes in.
I know. It's exciting.
It really is, right? This is a weekly show that we've been putting together, and we believe that it's been really beneficial, right, to a lot of those of you guys who have been coming in. And I know if you are any way connected to the banks, Rob Banks project, the Banks team, the Banks family, you've probably heard a lot from Mr. Banks and myself, because we've been all over the place. We've been doing spaces every day promoting our Sirius Collection. So big shout out to some of you guys. I see some familiar faces. For like James, I saw you earlier today. So big shout out to you, John. Big shout out to you as well, for, being there. A Blazer. I've seen you before. Disney, right? Big shout out to you, Link. I've seen you before too. Priest, as always, he's an OG in the space. He's been with us since few months now. So big shout out to all of you guys who are somewhat regulars. So we want to say again, welcome to another episode of the Bank Statement Show. Overall, Mr. Banks, how you feel about the progress of what we're trying to drop with the Sirius Collection? How do you feel about all the excitement surrounding really our first NFT launch?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going well. It's been well received, with the spaces that we've been doing, some of the feedback, I mean, it's getting exciting, right? I mean, I like how we're doing it. I haven't seen many projects launch like we're doing, NFT collection. Sometimes you don't even know you have an NFT, right? We're telling a story behind the NFT, the art, the asset class, right? We're just kind of going deep, and we got several more days to go, right? Until launch, and we're going to do spaces every day. But it's really cool, right? I know we've gotten some DMs from people just, excited about it. Thanks for what you guys are doing. This is going to be exciting, chance to win money, like just all that stuff where, a lot of times you don't get that stuff, right? So seeing the community involved is really cool.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's what we want to make sure, that we do something that is different, but also something that would be beneficial. Our 10 days to 25K campaign that we're doing, for those who may not know, we'll talk more about this a little later. But essentially what that means is, for the next 10 days or so, right? Actually, we already started. We talking everything about the Sirius Collection, right? So what is it going to be? The Mint, the history. Who is Sirius? Why did we choose that name? We're talking about traits of some of the NFTs. One of these days, we're going to bring some others, OG in the space, people, artists, and other projects who are going to be coming in, talking to us about their NFT journey as well. We're also going to be bringing in our artists who actually hand drew our NFTs. Fatal Pen, she'll be coming in. She's an incredible artist. She's one of the original NFT artists, or just artists in general, of Toshi, right? Toshi is one of the OG project on the Base network. So we'll also be talking about why we chose Base to launch our NFT on Base. We'll talk about that as well. So if you're here for the first time, welcome. You're one of our lovely faces, or we call you a Banks family, because you're a part of our family. So we like to just tell you welcome from being part of this. The Bank Statement Show is slightly different in what we do for the Sirius Collection, because the Bank Statement Show, the reason why we call it Bank Statement is because we want to look at the hard numbers. We want to talk a little bit about like some good money management, some good financial topics, even though this is not financial advice. And I always like to make sure that you guys know, right? So there's always my disclaimer at the beginning. So I want to make sure I start with that disclaimer before we go any further. Remember, guys, that the Bank Statement Show is intended to share general information for education and discussion purpose only. So nothing that you hear on this show is financial, legal, tax, or investment advice. Please do your own research, guys, and assess any risk, right? Because there's even risk in just NFTs. So we'll talk more about that later. Consult with a qualified professional before you make any investment decision. By watching or you're listening, you are agreeing that we're not responsible for any losses or action you may take based on the content of the show. All right. All the disclaimers out of the way. Let's go and jump straight in the deep end. The first thing before we get started, let's get this space to over 300 people. We're almost at 100 people right now. Let's retweet the room. I want to see people retweet the room. Let's retweet and repost this room right now. We're about 100 deep. Let's triple the room size. All right, guys, let's get it. I want to see a bunch of retweets and likes. I know some people are just coming in because like, hey, I heard they're giving free money away. Let's go. I'm going to share with you another way you can even win more than just the free money. So let's make sure retweet the room and get as many people as possible to come and listen to what we have going on. Cause I believe we have, some really exciting stuff. The market is looking good. So I'm really excited about that. All right. So Mr. Banks, I had an interesting, thought process, that I wanted to kind of talk with you about. For those of you guys who are maybe here for the first time, one of the things that Mr. Banks and I would like to do is we like to talk about money and relationship, right? Because we believe that often enough it's an important topic. Mr. Banks and I, we're both married, but we've been to the dating scene. And you know, some of you guys might be in a dating scene or whatever the case may be. It can be rough out there. So one of the things that I wanted to kind of talk about with you, Mr. Banks, is don't worry, no dating question today. I'm actually going to ask the married question. I had a question previously that, you know, we had a discussion off air where we were talking a little bit about like, who do you let manage the money, right? Let's say you and your spouse, you and your significant other, you guys are in married, you're coming together, both of you guys are generating money. Who's the person that managed the money, right? This is the bank statement show, right? So somebody has to look at the bank statements. Somebody has to go and look at the bank account. Is there something that is done both together, or does one person get to manage versus the others? So I'm curious to kind of hear your perspective, Mr. Banks. I kind of know it because you obviously told me, but I think I want to have just a general conversation on that. What do you think? Who should be the person that manages the money?
Yeah. Yeah. Great. Look, I think first of all, we need to make sure we clear the air here that we're actually not married, right? Mbongo and I are not married to each other. The way you said that, I think I make sure the audience knows we're not married. We're
not married to each other. We're married to our own wives. That's true.
To our own wives. Right. The way you asked,
That's
the way
funny.
you said that, I was like, oh man, I was like, we're going to go viral here. Mbongo and
That's crazy. You're going to clip us. Mr. Banks and Mbongo are a couple. What?
Yeah. What?
Wow.
But no, look, we did have this conversation, privately, but when you asked me, I remember we were coming back from a basketball game and,
right.
You asked me the question of, you know, who, and I believe ultimately, right, you need to let the person who's best at it to be the one, or actually the one that doesn't actually make all the money, right, is the one that I would say you want to be the one that manages the money, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes that might not be the best one or the most experienced one in managing the money. But for me, if I'm making all the money and my wife is not, it saves a lot of heartache by letting her see the finances. There's less of, if money is tighter, she's less likely to say, hey, let's go on that European trip, or let's go to New York City for the weekend, or, you know, or can I get my hair done, you know, like I shouldn't do, you know, for $1,000 or whatever. Like,
right.
So by having that person who doesn't make the majority of the money, she may contribute. That's the person that should should actually be managing the money. And because it reduces the level of conflict in a marriage, that is unnecessary, right? Mm-hmm. Because most marriages fight over, I don't know the statistics, Mbongo, you might know that, right? How many marriages or relationships split over money. And
the number one cause of divorce is financial related.
There we go. Yeah. Yeah. And I've been married. I mean, it's safe to say I've been married 24 years. This coming December 15th, I've been married 24 years. So I have a little bit of experience on the,
congrats, man. Let's give some hearts to Mr. Banks on 24 years of marriage, man. Come on, congrats. Give him some hearts, give him some thumbs up on 24 years. Come on, let's show some love to that longevity on the marriage, man. Man, I'm proud of you guys, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I know one of your things that you said that night when we were talking about it was, well, what if that person isn't good at it? Right. Which is a fair thing. But, look, the reality is that's why you sit down. It makes it even better. You sit down together, right? If he or she has a question about what's happening, right, you get to talk about, okay, I need to do this better. And plus make sure you're having and using the proper tools to be able to manage your money, to build wealth and create wealth for the family. Right. Generational wealth is what I believe. I believe everyone in the room has the opportunity, to create generational wealth, regardless of where they are geographically located.
Right. And I think that's, and I wanted to start with that conversation, right? Because, most of us, we are trying to gain a certain level of financial stability and for some financial freedom, usually for the goals we want, but more importantly for the people in our lives, right? You either are doing it for your kids, you're doing it for yourself or your spouse, or you're doing it to help your parents. Some of you guys here are maybe students or you're young and you want to be able to help someone who might have put you on, or there's usually a why behind our pursuit for wealth. And one of the things that we want to talk about on the Bank Statement Show is okay, don't lose the relationship at the sake of the money, or don't lose the money because you have improper relationships. Ooh, that's another topic for another day. We talked about that.
Worth some money right there. That's good. That's good stuff.
I'm telling you, that. This is the reason why you guys got to tune into the Bank Statement Show, man. We give you guys the real stuff. So one of the things that you said, I want to make sure it doesn't go over people's head. You mentioned the fact that it is very, very important that someone, the person who maybe makes the least amount of money, be the person that controls all the money in the couple, right? First of all, there are multiple ways, I believe, you could set up your financials, right? So there's couples who he has his money, she has her money, right? And they just basically each keep their own finances separately. Other couples, the way they do it is they have joint accounts where, everybody kind of sees. And other couples have kind of a mixture of both, right? Where he might have an account, but they have a joint account, and she might have an account, but they still have a joint account, right? So it depends on how it is. So no matter how you guys might have set it up with your, marriage and your relationship, cool. Kudos to you guys. That's awesome. One of the things that I'm really kind of curious to see is the dynamic of there's often in a relationship, in a couple, one that just is a better manager of money than the other. So it's really rare that you will see in a relationship that they're both are excellent at managing the money. They could be good at generating money, right? Good paying jobs. They're a lot great. Maybe at some couple investments. They both, have done well in terms of the money coming in. But there's often someone who's probably a better person at managing the money. So that's where we were just having this conversation. Is the person that makes the most money? To me, it just made sense. You make the most amount, you're the person who should be managing it, but you've already proven that you know how to make money. But here, I think, Mr. Banks, what you showed, I think was interesting was not necessarily. You could have someone who maybe doesn't make as much. That person is going to be probably more diligent on the money than the person who makes all the money. Simply because maybe that person is probably not going to be squandering the money out of responsibility because they know, okay, hey, all this is not my money, right? So I have to be kind of responsible with the precious money of someone else. So, I find that really fascinating. And I like kind of that idea of like the other person being more responsible with someone else's money. So I like that. There's something else you said, and I want you to kind of share this, Mr. Banks. Cause I thought it was a lot of wisdom on that, right? 24 years of marriage, right? You might know a single too. I wanted for you to talk to, especially for those who are trying to find themselves into a relationship. Um, do you believe in a prenup or not? Right? So let's talk about this, guys, right? Let's talk about prenup or not. You're about to go into a relationship. Yeah, let's go there. Prenups or not, right? Like you got your own money. Let's say you got all your banks or you got some Bitcoin or you got some real estate investments or you got a couple assets. You got a couple money in the bank. Do you guys believe in prenuptial agreement, right? Terms of engagement. I've seen someone call it terms of engagement. So let's talk about prenuptial agreement. Do you guys think that prenups are good? By the way, if you are pro prenups, I want you to give me a thumbs up. And if you are no on prenups, give me a thumbs down, right? I want to see how do we feel about prenups. If you are a pro prenup type of person in the relationship, you think it's good to have prenup, secure the money, give me a thumbs up. If you're like, come on, man, that messes up the love. I don't know if it's for, give me a thumbs down, right? On the prenup. So let's see what people say. Oh, I see a couple thumbs up. Okay. Let me see. Okay, couple thumbs up. Some people are like, hey, listen, you gotta protect the bag. Okay, couple thumbs up, couple thumbs up. Okay. I haven't seen a thumbs down yet, so it seems like everybody is pro prenup. Okay. Most people are thumbs up. Most people are saying, hey, listen, you gotta protect the money. Mr. Banks, what do you think? Are we pro? Well, actually, hold on. I see a couple thumbs down. I see a couple people saying, hey, listen, it's not true. You know, I see a couple thumbs up. So it's a mixed bag, right? I think majority I saw thumbs up, but a couple people were, thumbs down. They were like, I'm not sure. So, Mr. Banks, what do you think? What is your stance on prenups?
Well, again, this is a hot topic, right? This is a one, I actually hit my thumbs up. I actually believe in prenup, but here's the little caveat, right?
Okay.
Because let's just say you guys come into a relationship or a marriage, right? And you don't have a lot, but you acquire a lot over your lifetime.
Right.
So, obviously there's no need for a prenup, at that point from an individual status.
Right.
But there still could be a need for a prenup because of generational family wealth.
Okay.
From one side or the other.
Okay.
So, I actually was in a case like this with my wife where.
Wait, Mr. Banks, before you share your story, because I think it's going to be juicy. Guys, let's get this space to 300 people. We are almost reaching 200. That means share to someone. By the way, if you have a boyfriend that's not on the space right now, share the space to him. Tell him, hey, listen, come and get some knowledge. If your girl has been messing up, trying to get you to trying to get all your money, listen about the prenup, share with someone else. I want us to be able to hit 300 people listening live, because I think what we're doing here, we're trying to save some couples out here. We're trying to save you money. So before we go any further, make sure we retweet the room, make sure we share, and we get as many people as possible to come and listen, because I think what you're dropping right now is really important. Like, a lot of people don't have these honest conversation, right? When it comes about we only hear about prenups from like movies and like TV shows, right? Like, we don't really see that in real life. Like, what do you usually do? What are the financial consequences? And many people, sometimes you don't even recover from a divorce, especially if the divorce takes all your money away. So how do you approach that prenup aspect of it? All right. That was it. I just wanted to make sure that the information is so valuable. Let's get as many people as possible to come and listen. If you haven't retweeted and shared the space, you're doing yourself a disservice. Go ahead and share it with someone else. All right, Mr. Banks, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, great. I think we can get this out there to more people. Awesome. No, like I was saying, so, when my wife and I got married, her family, her mom and family had an issue because my wife and we had equally about the same amount of money going into our marriage. And even though I owned my own business, she had some money coming in from her career but the family money from my wife's side was dramatically higher. And her parents were at a little older age. So there was concerns over that. So, at the end of the day, we had those hard conversations, right? Because money conversations are hard no matter what, matter what, right? And again, just like you have to have hard conversations in business and in relationships and crypto and what we do with banks and the team. I mean, we got to have hard conversations. We can't be afraid to have hard conversations.
Exactly.
And so we had conversations. At first, I'm not going to lie. At first I was mad. I was fired up. And, at the end of the day, and rightfully so, I think everyone, what do you mean you don't trust me? Well, it's hard. You don't, they only know you through your spouse's eyes,
right.
and they say, so you're having to clean up a lot, or things happen through the dating period and the marriage. And, you're not a doctor or an attorney, or you don't have 20 Bitcoin, like whatever it might be.
Right.
Right. That, you're not quite that guy that you're
not the perfect bachelor that they wanted for. Yeah.
Yeah. And look, I mean, Bongo, I'm going through it now. My daughter's dating and talking about marriage. And, of course I have a different opinion. I'm a little, more understanding than maybe my wife even, but back to the prenup. So we did agree with a prenup over a set period of years. And we understood that if something were to happen, full transparency here. The main reason behind the prenup was not just because of my wife and I, but because I actually had a child, prior to my current marriage. And that my wife was basically the stepmom and raised my child with me. So the argument was, I don't want our money going to his kid, which is a hard. But that was valid concerns, right? And from a big picture. So we made those agreements, for a set period of time. And while we did that, that time since elapsed, obviously after 24 some odd years.
Right.
But, it was not something you wanted to necessarily agree to, but you also have to understand your motives, right? When you're into a relationship. I think it's a lot different today. I think people get married like they trade sometimes, right?
In and out, short-term trade.
They in and out, baby. They in and out. I actually get married like I trade, right? I'm long-term, baby. I'm long-term, right? I'm a long-term holder.
Yes, sir.
So I think that reality is, I'm sorry if my voice sounds funny, Bongo. I've been struggling with a little bit of a chest cold.
No, you're good.
So I think that's the important part, right? Is having those communications, having that talk, and not being scared of a prenup, because what's marital is marital, right? But if there's any source of money that you have a wallet, offshore, onshore, however you got your finances set up, let's have those conversations on the front.
Right.
Because if you think you're going to hide it in the marriage, it's going to come out. So you might as well have these conversations on the front side. Just put it in a prenup, right? If you don't want her to get access to your 20 Bitcoin, go ahead and put it in the prenup, right? Marital property is fair game, right? But my Bitcoin or my banks in my wallet, are not.
Are not for you. Wow. Thank you for, honestly, the transparency. Guys, do we love when we get this kind of information? If you love this, give me a thumbs up, give him a heart, give him 100. Let us know that you love this kind of information, because that's what we do, right? We want to make sure we're transparent and you guys can learn from, us going through real life, right? Share with you guys like real financial stuff. Like, for example, like a prenup or prenuptial agreement, how they impact us, how they play a role into our perspective when it comes to relationship. How do you guys see the perception? And also a lot of this can be different depending on where you are in the world, right? Like different jurisdictions, they have different rules, different perspective when it comes to stuff like prenuptial agreement and like really what we're talking about is like trust. Can you trust this person to be with you long term, before anything else would happen? So this is really, really, really fascinating stuff. So man, big shout out to Mr. Banks for giving us some real life advice of really what you've been through. So no, I appreciate you for doing that. That's awesome. So before I transition here, right? Like, I think one of the bigger takeaway I want you guys to take from this segment when we're talking about like really family and marriage and money is, you got to make sure that you have a plan. I think you can't go into something without necessarily a plan. Sometimes life might bring you without a plan, but even Mr. Banks would tell you, I think the family, and I'm pretty, it's interesting that you have that perspective. You like, okay, I understand their perspective that they had, because they're like, okay, well, look at this guy is coming in. He could be a threat to the generational wealth. The same way as well, you were coming into your marriage with like, I'm trying to build my own generational wealth. So I think that speaks volume to having a plan. What are you trying to do? The same way, like you said, you're looking at your marriage as a long-term investment. You want to really build wealth. The largest transfer of wealth happens usually within families. So essentially like a parent giving money to their children. That's the largest single transfer of wealth that usually happens for people. They inherit money, they inherit assets, the same way some of your children will might inherit some tokens or wallets or trust or things that you legged to them. The same way as well, it's important for us to really think about, okay, how do we manage those things well? How do you choose the right partner? The wrong girl could get you broke. The wrong guy can make you broke and lose all the years of diligent effort that you've done. You've been disciplined with your money, and this one girl comes in and she's like, hey, like, we talk about the girl who wants to spend $800 on the first date or $1,000 on the first date. Like, what? Crazy. We may not even have a second date. She already wants to spend $1,000. Crazy. So anyways, hopefully you guys found that, that little bit really, really, helpful like I did. I really love talking about this because I think to me, this is real life stuff. We're not just talking about tokens and, shilling stuff, but like, how do we actually live, like utilizing some financial principles to live a really purposeful and fulfilled life? All right, cool. So I'm glad you guys found that really, really helpful. And by the way, if you have a question, we might have time at the end. Keep your questions because I see some of you guys might have questions. Keep your questions at the end. We might let you ask a question or two. All right, Mr. Banks, I want to switch gears on you a little bit, right? So we did talk about that perspective of like money and finding the right partner. I would like to also talk about, really how did we come about choosing the Sirius Collection? Because to me, that also speaks to a really kind of a financial decision. And what I mean by that is the bank statement show is all about, okay, making good financial decision, right? And we've talked about this in one of our 10 days to 25K series that we did of spaces every day. We talked about the idea of like multiple people only look at, really NFTs, which is what the Sirius Collection is. It's an NFT collection of 10,000 NFTs celebrating Marty Malmi, which is known as Sirius. He was one of the early Bitcoin developers who worked with Satoshi Nakamoto. So a lot of people want to look at NFTs in general, whether it's the Sirius Collection or any other collection, Bored Ape Yacht Club. I mean, I'm talking about Pudgy Penguin, some of the big, more famous one with crazy volumes. Most people look at these items more like traded commodities, not so much as collectible items that can grow over time, right? So let's now have a financial conversation about these, how there could be multiple use cases for NFTs, but looking at the collector's perspective of NFTs and how they can accrue in value over time, that to me is a financial conversation. The same way at some point, some of the Bored Ape Yacht Club NFTs were going for, 10 ETH, 20 ETH. It was crazy. When we look at those amount, what makes an NFT something that someone should look at it from a financial standpoint as something that could be an investment opportunity? That's essentially the question I would like to ask.
Yeah. So, really, it boils down to the community and to the individuals, right? Who say, I'm going to believe in something. I like the art. I like the story behind it. I believe in something, because we touched on this the other day, is that there's only, like in our collection, there's only 10,000.
Right.
Which sounds like a lot. Like I was looking at pudgy penguins the other day and I'm like, wow, these things, I think the floor is like 3.5 ETH or something. Like,
right.
Even at today, it's like 3.5 ETH. I'm like, how did it get to 3.5 ETH? Like, to me, that's like incredible. Right. But, and it's, don't get me wrong. They're cute, but they just got that community. They just got those people that say, no, I'm going to believe in this.
Right.
And I believe something like that is possible with what we're trying to do with Sirius, because we're not making up, yes, Sirius and the art is fun. It's
cool looking. It's nice cool art and design. Right.
It's not a penguin. It's not an ape. It's got there's a true story behind what we're trying to do with Sirius and, the IP, right? The branding that we're doing and just everything about what we're doing with the Rob Banks story and the Sirius collection. It just has those kind of vibes, right? Where it could be a serious asset class as far as collectibles go. And because those are set by me and you, right? Just looking at, I see Waldo in the room. I see, Dubsky, we individually are the ones who say, no, I'm going to buy these at this price.
Right.
But I'm going to go ahead and set a floor for 3X's price or 4X's price. I'm going to buy more and continue to set that floor. And cause that's how it happens. It happens from us collectively, doing it. And then, if someone says, no, I'm going to get out, I'm going to set it for 1X, we come in, someone else comes in and sweeps the floor, buys some more, buys them up,
right?
Raises that price more, right? Those are the things that has to happen internally from your community, people who believe in the movement, believe in the story. That's how it becomes another, Pudgy Penguins or, Yacht 8 Club and, those other, legendary, I'll call them legendary type NFTs.
Right.
Because there is no difference between them. Right. And we can pick, I just saw Shiloh on here a little bit ago, right? He just launched his, great artist, but he just launched his collection, a new collection called Beavers. The 10,000 collection as well. Great art. I think they partnered with MFer on that as well. But, you just got to be willing to believe in something that you want to hold. I bought a bunch of them because I want to hold them long term, support the project. Believe in one day that they're going to increase in value.
Right. And this would be interesting to have conversation. I see Soulmate here. I see Daisy here as well. These are NFT artists as well. We see Waldo's over here as well. So and that's the part that I'm also curious to hear from some of you guys, right? We might maybe bring you guys a little bit later on, because I think, like you said, the storyline has to matter, right? Of what you're trying to do. Some of them, it's also timing, right? Like when you see Bored of Ape Yacht Club, and some of the cyberpunk style NFTs, I think what made those pretty unique is just right timing. I think they were there 2021, some people consider the apex of NFT land, right? Like you would just have typical NFTs and they would just kind of blow up. I think that speaks volume to, okay, timing also matters, but is there a belief of looking at it as a long-term approach, right? Like, are you going to hold on to these because the community is going to grow and you're going to have value? And I think that's the approach we want. We wanted to celebrate someone that was true, like Mr. Banks said. Like, Marty Malmy, guys, is a real person who's still alive, who really existed, who really was there and was the only two people that was listed as the person that was actually managing Bitcoin.org. Right? Like Satoshi Nakamoto, we still don't know if that's, whatever. But like Marty Malmy, a real person, a Finnish student at the time in 2009 when he really kind of stumbled on that and like launched into this trajectory with Satoshi over Bitcoin. His moniker online was Cyrus. That's the reason why we're calling our collection the Sirius Collection. But how do you get the value, the monetary value of a Sirius Collection? I think Mr. Banks talked about it. You got to be willing to hold on to something that's valuable. The same way we've seen, what's his name? What's the guy from, MicroStrategy? What's his name again? Michael Saylor.
Yeah.
Right. Michael Saylor keeps saying, do not sell your Bitcoin. Dude, yeah. Mr. Banks, can you imagine? I saw Bitcoin at $8,000. Yeah. I saw Bitcoin at $8,000. And I bought some. I think I was holding half of Bitcoin at the time. And it went to $12,000. And guess what I did?
You sold.
I sold that Bitcoin. I said, hoo-wee, I made money and I was proud of it, right? I was like, yo, number one rule of investing, make profit. It went to 12. I was like, man, I sold that sucker up. Well, you can imagine how I feel today. Right? Obviously, made some good investments in other asset classes and stuff. But the point I'm trying to say as well is like the value really becomes in being a long-term visioneer, right? Like seeing these things in a big picture. Cyrus, one of the reasons why we're doing a big deal about this is one, we want to honor the memory of Marty Malmy and the work that he did for the Bitcoin Foundation and all that. But also we want to give an opportunity for people like you guys who are part of the Banks family to also get in on maybe the potential Punji Penguin, maybe the potential, again, we're not making any claims. I'm not saying that it's going to be worth 3 ETH, but it could. You never know. Right? But you only see that when you look at it from a financial standpoint as an asset. You got to look at it as an asset, right? Like I might be speaking out of turns, but to me, I think it's important. Like we need to look at it like Mr. Banks and myself, especially him with years of experience in real estate. He would tell you there are properties you buy and you just hold on to it and it just increases in value because of demand, because of changing time, because of location. And that one property that seemed to have been worth nothing today, you can sell it top of the market. Same thing too. If you're looking at NFTs, whether that's Cyrus or even other NFTs, don't just look at it as another speculative thing that you're going to be in and out, right? The same thing we talked about earlier about marriage, like have a plan, have an idea. We're launching December 1st. Do you have an idea of like, okay, what you're going to do with the Sirius Collection NFTs once you get them? How many NFTs you're going to get? By the way, Mr. Banks, I'm not sure if we're not going to announce the price here of our NFTs, the minting price, but I'm going to tell you, we made it affordable. We made it affordable so that every single person, if you are on this call here, that means you have access to either mobile data or the internet, you can afford an NFT. Let me just say that you can afford an NFT. We wanted to make it affordable so that anyone can be able to do it. But we also know that because you can afford it, it can quickly jump in price because we believe we're going to be, almost, how can I put this? Giving value because of the purpose that's behind just having the collection. Not just the fact that it's cute, it's nice. No, because we're trying to celebrate something serious, right? So, I want to make sure that you guys understand this. My goal was not just to be able to pitch our Sirius Collection, but I wanted to talk about the idea of like, you need to look at things like NFTs as another asset class, as another way like you would buy stocks, as you would buy a real estate property, as you would buy bonds, as you would buy tokens, NFTs also has to be just another asset class in which you're diversifying your investments, right? Hopefully I was able to kind of like say that clearly, Mr. Banks, so that our audience can really see that, because that's the part that we want to teach. We want to showcase that, okay, NFTs are just, they're another asset class, another way for you to be able to protect your asset. Maybe you have generational wealth long term.
No, 100%. You did a good job doing that. I think it's an important point. Because again, sometimes we know it, but we just need to hear it again, right?
Right.
To, cause you've gotten burned or you got scammed on something,
Right.
and you kind of, you back out, you stay away from something. And so, yeah, I think it's a good point. Glad you, retouched on that.
No, I'm glad we talked about that. All right. So before we end, before we move on to something else, there's something that I wanted to make sure we talk about as well. So the launch, like I said, for our NFT is going to be December 1st. Couple of things, because our team, you wanted for us to harp on this. Here are some best practices. If you are going to participate, I'm going to encourage every single person here to participate, into our launch, because we're doing something different with the NFT launch. So there's 10,000 NFTs that are going to be available for you to mint. This is going to be a blind mint, meaning that you have just as much as anyone the chance to get a super rare NFT, right? The NFT collection is going to be listed on OpenSea, so you can be able to resell it. You can be able to showcase your collection. But we're doing something unique with our NFT. We are going to give $25,000 in giveaway as part of the NFT. It's going to be sponsored by the NFT. What I mean by that is, for every minting fee, so when you come and you blind mint an NFT and you see what you get, right? A portion of that is going to go to a pool that's going to be accumulating, and once that pool reaches $1,000, we're going to pick one of our mentor, and we're going to send that wallet 1,000 USDC. So what do I mean by that, right? I want you guys to hear me, right? And give me some thumbs up and some heart if you guys love this, the ability to win $1,000 by just participating, right? So we're not just keeping all the money. I'm going to tell you some other stuff too. We're going to be giving some of the money as well to charity, to the Bitcoin Foundation, and some of the other pro crypto foundations who are doing incredible work. So I'll talk about that at another time. But essentially, we're doing a giveaway. We're going to be giving it away $25,000 from the NFT sales that have been generated, right? So essentially what's going to happen is, once you mint, every mint is an entry into the pool to win $1,000. So if I come and I mint one NFT, I get one entry. I met another NFT, I get a second entry. I met a third NFT, I get a third entry. So if I met 50 NFTs, I have 50 chances to win $1,000. If I met 100 NFT, I get 100 chances to win $1,000. I don't know about you, but that sounds sexy to me. That's something I would love to do. So not only do you get some incredible NFTs, like we just talked about, that could be valued at a lot, but you also get the ability now to be able to also win some money in addition to just doing the NFTs. So it's a win-win-win, right? So that was a way for us to be able to give back to the community by saying, you know what, if you participate in this, if you're part of what we're trying to do, we're going to give you a chance to do that. All right. Now this is when things get juicy.
Bongo, can I add something to that?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and add.
Well, why don't you tell everybody how they can actually double that entry?
Ooh. All right. So,
because I see a lot more people on here than we've had on our morning, dedicated.
Our 10 days to 25K. All right. So let's talk about this, guys, right? So there's almost 200 people on this live right now. Here's what I want everybody to do. Mark your calendar for December 1st. Go and follow Banks on Base. Follow us on X right now. And then check. We're going to pin a post very soon with a link. We want you to bookmark the link. Only our link, not from some random Telegram or support. Go either to our website, banksonbase.com, or go to our main X account, the one with the gold check mark, Rob Banks, not a fake account, right? I want you to participate in our 10 days to 25K spaces. So starting last Friday, we've been doing spaces every day. Okay? Those who come to those spaces, we'll call them the 10 days to 25K campaign. we're going to pick one person randomly from the audience, right? So the team comes, takes a screenshot of who's over there, and we pick one person randomly. We use the spinning wheel. You guys already know how we do. We are fair. We don't cheat. We're not just giving money to our team. None of that foolishness, right? We will fairly put your name and your Twitter handle there, and then we'll pick one winner. Actually, we'll pick two winners. And then those two winners, you get 2x entries when you mint. What does that mean? It means when December 1st we launch, you go to our mint page and you mint one NFT. Instead of getting one entry, you get two entries. As if you mint 5 NFTs, instead of getting 5 entries, you get 10 entries. You go as well and you mint 100 NFTs. Instead of getting 100 chances to win $1,000, you get 200 chances to win the $1,000. And guess what? The more chances you have, you might end up winning more than just $1,000. You might end up winning $2,000, maybe $3,000. I mean, if you're super lucky, you could win whatever, right? Maybe you should be going to Vegas. If you're winning that much, you're super lucky. But that's something, honestly, I have never seen. I've never seen any project do what I am talking about right now. I don't know about you, Mr. Banks, but I really believe we actually truly care. Because I want you guys to understand something. We could have just been like, okay, yeah, these NFTs are awesome. The storyline is awesome. We believe that there's value. And we want you to hold the value and just go and resell the value. Why did we have to give away 25 grand to the community? Because that's what we do. That's what we do.
Yeah, we've already given away tens of thousands of dollars since we've been around the first year.
Right.
Coming to spaces like this and our chill and chills and,
right.
We just want to give back. We believe that, being just doing good to the community and giving everyone a chance to win. Right. And now we're doing it in a big way.
Exactly. This time is the big way. The reason why we also know that in Christmas time, it can be tough for some people, right? You may not have enough to be able to provide for your kids, to make sure that they have gifts, or to make sure that, there's food on the table for you to provide. Some of you guys take care of like elderly parents. An extra $1,000 could change a lot for you, right? Regardless of where you are in the world, whether you're in the US or in Nigeria or in Australia or in the Philippines or South Korea or, South America, wherever you may be, that extra $1,000 could make a change for you, right? So if you guys want to have twice the chance to win, make sure you participate in it's pretty simple, our 10 days to 25K spaces, okay? Make sure you participate. I know it's a little difficult for some. You might be at work or you might be it's a little difficult, but just tune in, right? Like hop in, put a little, your AirPods in your ear and listen. One is they're very valuable, I want to say, right? We're not just wasting your time there. Like today, for example, we talked about best practices when you mint, how to stay safe. Yesterday we had the discussion on really kind of looking at like, what is an NFT? We talked about that on day 3, like what is an NFT, non-fungible token, the use cases of an NFT just in general, besides just art. We looked at like real estate, property, ID, all that kind of stuff that NFTs can be used. We talked about Sirius, right? Like his history. We talked about BitcoinTalk.org. I don't know if you guys are OG enough to know about Bitcoin Talk. That was like before crypto Twitter. That was like the crypto Twitter of 2011. 2013, 2014, for all my OGs who've been there since then. But so we're giving you a lot of insider stuff, for you guys to be able to find value during that time. And for you spending that time with us, we're willing to reward you by giving you 2x entries at a chance to win $1,000. Hopefully you guys love that, right? If you like it, come on, give me a thumbs up, give me a heart. I want to see a bunch of hearts in the chat right now. Give me a bunch of hearts in the chat so we can be able to see if you guys really loved it, if you guys are excited about what we have going on with Banks. I want to make sure I'm seeing some chat. I'm scrolling down right now to make sure I can see that. But yeah, super, super, super excited. We believe that it's going to be something amazing. Yeah, I see a bunch of hearts. Okay, people are excited. I love it. Right? You guys are happy about what we're about to do. Okay, awesome. All right. Mr. Banks, anything else that you would like to share before we end? We might take a question or two from some of our peeps. but before we end, anything else you would like to add?
Yeah, no, I just want to add, I'll tell you what, you're talking about the opportunities and the chances for people to win. And I'm not going to lie. I'm excited about that, just announcing the winners and sending the thousands.
Right.
We've sent 100, we've sent 500, we've sent, a lot of 25s and 50s, but we've never done 1,025, like
To one person.
to one person. Right. And to see, I see how excited some people get over winning $25.
Right.
So I'm to me, it's just super exciting to be able to do that. Right. And to share that.
Right.
Just going to be fun, right? To see their reactions and how that changes their lives will be fun. So I can't wait to send $1,000 out.
For sure. No, man, super excited. Again, thank you guys. Does anybody have any question or anything regardless of what we talked about as part of our bank statement show? If you guys enjoyed it, if you will have a question, and by the way, your question has to be specific about what we just talked about here, right? You're not here to shill your project or shill whatever. If you have a question about something that we talked about, you can raise your hand. And while I'll look up the people who maybe my request to speak. I just want to say again, a big shout out to all my NFT people who are in the building. I see Waldo, Soulmate, big shout out to you. I think you've been to several of our spaces, so it's always good to see you. So I see Soulmate there. I also see, what's his name? Daisy. Daisy as well. I've seen you. Daisy CSG. I've seen you in several of our spaces. So big shout out to you as well. Specifically Waldo, Daisy, and Soulmate, I would love to invite you guys to come to a space that we're going to do with other NFT creators on Friday. So mark your calendar this Friday. If you guys could be part of our 10 days to 25K, we would love to have you guys being part of our speaker panels. And you guys can share a little bit if you guys have, if you guys can make it, that'll be awesome. We might contact you guys and see if you guys can make it. That would be really amazing, right? So that's again, if anybody else is also a NFT artist or NFT content creator, and you would love to be part of that, let us know as well. We will have you as part of that panel because we believe that panel is going to be just awesome. It's going to be really awesome. All right. So, I don't really see any other questions here. Falake, I saw you had a question. I think she had a question about the prenup earlier. She didn't raise her hand again. I don't know if she still has that question or not, but, if you still have that question, we could take your question. I think Mr. Banks can answer. If not, it's cool. We'll end it. Man, this is a great space, man. You get a chance to learn about some money, learn about some NFTs, being able to, change your future. Why not? This is what we do. This is, what it means to be part of the Banks family. So I would like to, on behalf of all the Banks team, thank you all of you guys for your support, for the love and kindness you've shown for us throughout these past couple of months. We have great things ahead, and we can't wait for you guys to see you on December 1st for the launch of the Sirius Collection. Everybody come in. Make sure your wallet is full of USDC on base, because that's what we're going to be using for you to mint your NFT. And who knows, we might do a minting party, right? We might do a minting party. I'll tell you guys more about that as we get closer to December 1st. But that's going to be awesome as well for you guys to maybe win some rare NFTs. Who knows? That's going to be awesome. All right, guys. We appreciate you guys. Stay safe out there. It's Thanksgiving week for us in the US. So, we're super thankful for a lot of you guys. We'll have a special 10 days to 25K on Thursday, where we're going to be grateful and talking about, how we're just thankful for stuff. And then on Friday, special episode with all my NFT creators, my NFT artists. Again, Soulmate, Daisy, Waldo, you guys get a personal invitation on our behalf to be on that space. You're going to be joining some other also incredible projects and artists. Any last words, Mr. Banks, before I close it out?
No, go ahead and close it out. Thank you guys. Thank everybody for coming, and look forward to next week's bank statement show. But we got a lot to go in between with our Sirius spaces. So join us there.
Exactly. Join us there. It's going to be awesome. By the time you hear us next week for the Bank Statement Show, Cyrus will be live. So
Oh,
make
let's
sure
go.
you tune in. All right, guys. We love you guys. We'll see you guys on either the next 10 days to 25K space, or we'll see you on December 1st. All right, guys. Peace. Bye.